Ever wondered if an affordable dedicated webcam can truly beat using the built-in camera on your laptop or even a smartphone camera for video calls or content creation? Well, today we're going to take a deep dive into the OBSBOT Meet SE, an AI-powered webcam packed with a ton of premium features at the surprisingly low price of $69. And I do want to thank the team over at OBSBOT for sponsoring this video, but as always, I'm going to share my real-world experience, the good, the bad, and whether this is actually worth considering for your setup. Now let's go ahead and get into it. For this entire video, I'll be using the OBSBOT Meet SE for all of my talking head shots, so you'll get a first-hand look at how it performs in a real-world setting. Now the OBSBOT Meet SE has a sleek and compact design, and right away you can tell it's built to be lightweight yet sturdy. It's got a very modern, minimalist look that will fit well in most setups. Inside the box you'll find the webcam itself, a magnetic mount that allows for easy attachments to your monitor or laptop, a privacy cover, a USB cable, and the usual documentation. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that before you use it, you will want to update the firmware for the best performance. You can download the latest version of the OBSBOT Center software from their website to make sure you're getting all the newest features and optimizations. Now let's go ahead and talk about the features that make the OBSBOT Meet SE stand out. One of the coolest features is the AI auto framing, which means that the camera will automatically adjust to keep you in the center of the frame. Whether you're moving around during a presentation, streaming, or just shifting in your chair during a call, it keeps you perfectly framed without needing manual adjustments. And this feature can be turned on and off with a simple wave to the camera. Another useful feature is the gesture-controlled zoom feature. With just an L-shaped gesture, you can zoom in and out without touching the camera. It's a really intuitive way to adjust your shot without messing with any of the settings. Now this camera also does support 1080p at 100 frames per second or 720p at 150 frames per second, which is pretty rare at this price point. Now this makes movement look incredibly smooth whether you're gaming, presenting, or streaming. Now what this means is that in most cases you're going to be limited more by the software or the streaming service that you're using rather than this webcam itself. And when it comes to low light performance, the Meet SE uses a 2.8-inch CMOS sensor and an f1.8 aperture, which means it pulls in more light and helps maintain clear, vibrant video even in some dim environments. And I did test this out side by side with my Google Pixel 8, and while my phone's camera obviously has some flagship level processing, the OBSBOT Meet SE actually held up surprisingly well, especially in terms of sharpness and motion clarity. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this more in detail shortly. Now, if you care about privacy, you'll be happy to know that the Meet SE comes with a physical privacy cover. You just slide it over the lens and boom, you know for sure that your camera isn't recording you doing anything that you don't want to be seen doing. The OBSBOT Center software also has an auto sleep mode, which lets you configure the camera to turn off automatically after a set period. You can even customize the sleep background to be a solid black screen, a built-in image, or even an image that you personally upload. One of the things that I really appreciate though is how easy it is to set up. It's completely plug and play, so no extra drivers are needed, and it also works across a ton of different platforms including Zoom, OBS, Twitch, and Google Meet, and it is compatible with both Windows and Apple products. If you're a content creator, you're going to love the fact that it supports open sound control and Stream Deck integration, which makes switching scenes and controlling your webcam super seamless. But one thing to keep in mind is that some of its AI features require the OBSBOT Center software to be running in the background, which might use some extra CPU resources depending on your system. The OBSBOT Center software gives you full manual control over the webcam. By default, things like focus, exposure, white balance, and image contrast settings are all automatically adjusted by the camera itself, but if you want manual control over any or all of those features, you can easily do that. You can also adjust the zoom and gimbal features both for manual settings and even for the gesture controlled actions. And if you aren't a fan of the gesture control features at all, you can actually turn them completely off within the software as well. Now let's go ahead and put the OBSBOT Meet SE to the test by comparing it directly with my usual webcam setup, my Google Pixel 8 in Android webcam mode. And since I don't normally use a dedicated webcam, this is going to be a good benchmark to see how well the OBSBOT stacks up against a premium smartphone camera. Now I've gone ahead and set up both cameras side by side under the same conditions to see how they compare in terms of sharpness, color accuracy, and overall detail. Now I have the Pixel 8 on the left-hand side, and I've got the OBSBOT Meet SE on the right-hand side. So right away you're going to notice some differences. The Pixel 8, with its more advanced image processing, tends to produce slightly more vibrant and well-balanced colors, whereas the OBSBOT Meet leans towards a natural and neutral color profile, which some people may actually prefer, especially if they don't want much post-processing applied to their video feed. Now in terms of sharpness, both cameras hold up well, but the OBSBOT Meet SE is designed for consistent clarity without over-sharpening, which is a common issue for some AI-enhanced smartphone cameras, but you can see for yourselves how the sharpness stacks up between the two cameras. Now next up, let's see how both cameras handle different lighting scenarios. In a well-lit environment, both look great. The OBSBOT Meet SE does maintain a smooth and well-exposed image even as lighting conditions change. Now I currently have some key lights on my face, and the room lights that I'm in are currently set to 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust those down. So now we're about 50% of the overhead light and the key lights are still on, and the OBSBOT actually still does a great job maintaining good picture quality, color, and clarity. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to 10%. And that's going to be 10% of the overhead lighting, but I still have my key lights on. And we're going to get a little bit of overexposure from the OBSBOT, but realistically, this isn't really a scenario where you're going to be recording video that often, and it's still doing a reasonable job in these low light settings. Now finally, we're going to go ahead and turn off the overhead lights altogether, and I'm actually going to turn off the key lights so you guys can see what that looks like too. So we've got our overheads off, and now we are going to turn off our key lights. So now effectively the only lights that we have on are going to be from the display screen directly in front of me. So now you can see the colors are super muted on the OBSBOT Meet SE, but realistically you're never going to be filming like this. Like, this is a very abnormal scenario where you have absolutely no lights on other than your screen while you're actively using your web camera. Now finally, let's go ahead and talk about the built-in microphone quality. Right now you're hearing me speak through my normal recording Blue Yeti microphone, but for comparison, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the Meet SE microphone right now. Now the Meet SE built-in noise reduced microphone does a fairly good job of isolating speech, but it's definitely not going to replace a dedicated microphone if you're aiming for professional quality audio. My Blue Yeti microphone does pick up a little bit more ambient noise, but also sounds slightly fuller in tone. So while the OBSBOT Meet SE is perfectly fine for a casual call or some sort of a meeting, people recording or wanting high quality audio might still want to pair it with an external microphone. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the pros and cons of this webcam. What I do like is the AI auto framing is a super useful feature for staying in the shots. Gesture controls are also a nice touch. The compact and lightweight design makes it travel friendly. It's got a high frame rate, which is excellent for smooth motion, and the plug and play setup with broad platform compatibility is really nice. What could be better is that there is no built-in HDR, so lighting adjustments aren't as dynamic. Autofocus can sometimes struggle in low light conditions, and it does need the OBSBOT Center software running for the full AI functionality. So is the OBSBOT Meet SE worth picking up? Now, if you're someone who streams, works remotely, or just wants better video quality without breaking the bank, this might actually be a really good option for just $69. Now, it's not perfect, and no webcam is, but the AI-powered tracking, high frame rate, and solid low-light performance makes it a compelling choice. I do want to give a big thanks again to OBSBOT for sponsoring today's video. Links, as always, are going to be in the description if you want to check it out or just to learn a little bit more about the product. Let me know in the comment, what's the most important feature for you in a webcam? That's pretty much all I've got for you guys in this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys again real soon.